What's up, you guys, and welcome to another episode of the Ask Alex Show. Man, I am so glad you guys keep coming back and watching this show. I've noticed that a lot of people are taking into this show, so I really do appreciate your love and support. And I could not do this show every week without my co-host, Mr. Jeremy Branch. How are you doing today, Jeremy?
What's up, Alex? What's up, movie buffs? Glad to be back. I've been having a really good time with it, and to see the numbers starting to improve and get more and more viewers each week is super exciting. I know that we've got some fun topics for the show today, so I'm looking forward to getting into it, man.
Yeah. I can't wait to get into it as well. Ian couldn't be with us today, unfortunately, but we'll try to definitely get him back on the next show. But shout out to Ian. I know he's doing great things. But if this is your first time ever watching any of this show, you guys know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and then hit that bell right next to it that we get all the notifications of every time I'm releasing a video here on my YouTube page. And guys, we are also on Patreon. So if you want to support us on Patreon, just go to our Patreon page. There will be an audio version of this show on that for Patreon supporters only. And also there'll be exclusive episodes of real debates before it hits the YouTube channel, before people want to see that. So you definitely want to check that out if you want to be a Patreon member. And if you want your topic or question on this show, it's very simple, guys. Just send me an email at the askalexshow@gmail.com. That's the askalexshow@gmail.com. If you send your topic or question to my email, I guarantee more than likely will be answered on the show. I've been getting a lot of reoccurring guests and some of my coworkers who watch the show, so I answer the stuff that they send. And if you are a new viewer and you want your question on here, more than likely I can almost guarantee it'll be answered on the show. Now, like Jeremy stated earlier, we have a very interesting show for you guys today, and the first topic comes from a reoccurring guest, Mr. Lee Lewis, who wrote about this very thing last week, and we're going to be talking about it again this week. And Mr. Lee wrote, "Hey guys, so it looks like the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer has finally leaked online. And according to reports, Kevin Feige and Marvel have blocked all attempts for the trailer to become viral. What do you think about this news?" Now, thank you for your question, Lee. So I kid you not, I was laying in bed last night and I was going through the questions for the show today. And I had no knowledge that the trailer had leaked online until I read your question, Lee. So I went to Variety and I went to Screen Rant, and I believe I went to comicbook.com. And apparently, somebody at Marvel who works in the trailers or the editing section of Marvel took like maybe, I think, 30 seconds of the trailer, and not all of it, but some of it, and tried to leak it online. And some people were sharing it, but Marvel was sending out copyright notices and legal threats to people who are sharing the trailer on their social media. And immediately when I went to Twitter, it was just gone. Like, but if you go to Twitter last night, Spider-Man No Way Home trailer was trending. Yep. So I'm like clicking on the hashtag, and every video that I clicked on, it was like, this trailer has been blocked. This trailer has been flagged. This trailer has been done, all this other stuff. And I was just like, well, where the fuck can I find this trailer? So I was telling Jeremy off camera, I was going to those websites that you're not supposed to go to, and I still couldn't find it. But after I read the report from Variety, basically what they said is that, in a nutshell, and I'm paraphrasing, Kevin Feige and Marvel and Company and Sony, they were sending out a whole lot of copyright notices to a lot of major social media platforms and their users. So not just the users, but also platforms as well. So for the most part, if you had possession of that trailer of some kind, you got a call from Marvel or a notice from Marvel saying, if you upload this or whatever, we're essentially coming for your neck. And personally, we talked about it last week. When will a trailer come out? And we were kind of like speculating it could come out maybe after Shang-Chi or after Venom or even after Eternals, as late as that. It looks like, from what I'm hearing, they're probably going to debut a trailer at CinemaCon this week. And CinemaCon is this week. It's actually tomorrow on Tuesday. That's when they start the actual convention. I've never gotten an invite, but I would love to go one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently Sony has their big Sony presentation there, and it's being rumored that Spider-Man is on that list of presentations along with all the other films. So you know, it's funny that you write this in, Lee, because we were just talking about this last week, but I am curious to see what they'll do with this Spider-Man No Way Home trailer not being leaked as the days go by. But Jeremy, you heard about this news, man. Were you able to see the trailer, and were you able to see all the craziness that was happening on Twitter regarding this Spider-Man No Way Home trailer potentially being leaked?
So I didn't think it was real. When I heard that there was a leaked Spider-Man trailer, my first initial response is, okay, this is a fan-made kind of put together thing. We've seen those before. However, everything that happened along with it, the fact that Kevin Feige and Disney are getting involved, but not releasing any official statement as to whether this thing is legitimate or not, but scrubbing the internet of it. Only Disney can remove things from the internet. People say the internet is forever. You put it up one place, you would think, Alex, that there are at least 1,000 people right now that have possession because they screen recorded it. So where they at, you know? I think it's kind of cool, man. I think it's kind of cool to see Tom Holland post. He said, "You ain't ready," in his post. And I remember as a young man, and Alex, you probably got it too, that like ain't a word. Ain't isn't a word. Nobody says ain't but Southern people. And the fact that it made it across the pond and now even British people are saying ain't, I just feel like that's like justification for us Southern people that have been using it forever. Anyways, that's a side tangent, but I think this is really interesting that Marvel was able to go and scrub the trailer off the internet. From what I heard, it's very blurry footage, but the backgrounds match up with some of the set photos that we've seen in the past, and that's kind of how people were, I guess, gauging the authenticity of it. But I wish we would have got a chance to see it, Alex. I wish we were reporting today on what we saw in the trailer, but it doesn't seem to point to any footage of Tobey Maguire, any footage of Jamie Foxx, Andrew Garfield. Like, we haven't got any of that stuff still. So there's still a ton of speculation. But yeah, man, I wish I would have had a chance to see that trailer.
Yeah, I mean, I really tried. Like when you see stuff like that trending on Twitter, like when the final Eternals trailer dropped, it was trending on Twitter. I thought that was probably like, a leak thing, but it was an actual trailer. But when you see anything Spider-Man related, I'm like, okay, well, I want to see what it is. And the fact that Disney scrubbed the internet of his trailer. It kind of, fun fact, and I haven't said this before, I kind of stopped doing this, but I was gonna put out my own fan-made Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. Now I'm kind of scared to do it because it's like,
you might get in trouble.
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna lose my YouTube channel, so I'll just let that slide. But I mean, what do you guys think about this Spider-Man No Way Home leak trailer? Did you guys get the opportunity to watch it? And if you did, can you describe what happened down in the comment section? Please let us know, because I'm interested to see what Tom Holland's talking about when he says we ain't ready. So just let us know in the comment section below. Now we got and another question comes from another coworker of mine, Mr. Isaac Simmons. And Mr. Isaac writes, "Hey guys, so there have been some leaked set photos of the Black Panther Wakanda Forever movie of the Dora Milaje chasing a car in a high action scene. Does these images excite you for the movie?" Well, thank you for your question, Isaac. I don't think that those images were leaked. I think they were put out by the studio because they're not blurry or anything. It's like someone took a really good shot of them chasing a car. Now, at first, I thought it was recycled footage from the first movie, but I guess when I saw the image on Variety today, it looks like it's something that we haven't seen before. So it didn't necessarily add any more excitement to what I'm already excited for. But it does beg the question. In that photo, they're chasing a car, but they're not chasing a car in Wakanda. So what are they doing in America? That's what I want to know. Like, why are they there again? Because if you watch the first movie, I think 95% of that movie, except for the flashback scenes, took place in Wakanda. Like, we didn't leave Wakanda really at all, except for getting Eric Killmonger's backstory and then his dad's backstory. But we didn't really like leave Wakanda. So if they're chasing a car, oh, actually, they were in China in the first movie. I forgot they were in China the
For a
first
minute,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah, hunting down Claw. So I'm just curious to see what they're doing there. But Jeremy, did you happen to see these set images? And also, does this excite you even more for the new Black Panther movie?
I'm looking for them right now. I didn't see the images, so I'm gonna pull Variety picture Black Panther Wakanda Forever. We'll see if I can't pull it up real quick. Because I have not. I see a picture of Ryan Coogler talking to what's her name from Us? Is that
Lupita?
Lupita Nyong'o?
Mm-hmm.
And that definitely looks like a set photo.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine, Alex, that this is going to be even more of a worldwide situation than the first one did, because Black Panther, especially in the first half of it, it had that like kind of spy movie, maybe even James Bond type feel to it, where they're going around, they've got these technological gadgets that they're able to use for their missions. And because the first Black Panther thematically was about the difference between being very nationalist, I guess, and keeping all of your resources within your country, to all of a sudden sharing that and expanding it out into the world. And that's very much the note that the original Black Panther ended on, is basically now Wakanda is joining the rest of the world in a kind of metaphorical sense. But I think we'll see a lot more of that in the sequel. And I think that the sequel has potential to be even better than the first film. I know that that's a pretty hot take, and I mean it as no besmirchment to Chadwick Boseman, who was fantastic in the role. I thought he was so good in the first film. Love him in Civil War. But I just feel like now that we have done a lot of the heavy lifting to establish Wakanda as a place, now we can really focus in on the people of Wakanda a little bit more. I felt like the first movie was such an Eric Killmonger movie, specifically, that the Dora Milaje and kind of cursory characters outside of that storyline didn't get as much as they could. Well, now that we've introduced concepts of the Dora Milaje and people, what's the name of the other group, not the Wakandans, but the other guys,
the Jabari tribe.
The Jabari tribe. We should be able to see more of that this time around. So I just feel like now that the world has opened up, there's a lot of potential to explore things that we just didn't have a lot of time to do in the first, because it's dedicated so much of its time to establishing this ideological conflict between Killmonger and the rest of the world. So I'm curious to see it. I had some issues with the latter part of the first Black Panther movie. And I think that because of vocal critiques of things like the rhinoceroses, that will probably get a slightly different ending this time around. And I'm just really excited to see what direction they take it.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because that rhinoceros scene and then the fight between Killmonger and Black Panther, dude, it did look like a video game. I was like, and I remember when we watched it, because it's funny, that's how me and Jeremy somewhat met. We watched it in the theater, in the IMAX theater. And because I used to work with Jeremy's wife at the Hilton. When you're watching it on screen, it's cool, but it did look like a video game. Like, it looked like a Black Panther video game character riding a rhino that didn't seem real. And even when I forget the guy who turned on
Daniel
Black Panther.
Kaluuya is the actor's name, but I don't know the character right now.
Yeah, I forget it. Wakabi or something like that. Like, when he jumps on the rhino, I was like, it to me, he's either jumping on like a horse or jumping on obviously it looked like he was jumping on a prop, and you can
Yeah.
just see the CGI playing itself out. So I'm praying at least that the CGI is a whole lot better for this movie. That was one of my only critiques amongst some
Yes.
other things, but yeah, like Jeremy said, I would love to see expansion of the Wakandans and how they move forward. I would love to see how they address a new Black Panther. I'll also like to see that conflict of the Jabari tribe saying, well, now that Chadwick Boseman's character is no longer there, is one of those people from the Jabari tribe trying to be the Black Panther now.
Oh, that's interesting, Alex. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, because in the first movie, that was the whole point of I forget, why do I keep forgetting these characters' names?
It's been a while, that's all.
Yeah. But he wanted to be the guy who fought Chadwick in the first movie. He wanted to be the Black Panther. And now
I know him as like, is it the White Gorilla is his name in the comic books? It's like something.
Yeah, I can't. Why am I forgetting?
Let us know in the comment section. But
Yes.
Alex, dude, while we're on the subject,
Mhm.
I know we are completely in the world of speculation here.
Mhm.
Do you have any new developing ideas about how we what the storyline looks like for Wakanda Forever? Who's the new Black Panther? How do they address the death?
So I think personally, and this is all speculation,
Of course.
have no insider information, but if I had to take a educated guess, T'Challa's dead. He's either, I don't believe they'll say he's gone. I don't believe they'll do like Paul Walker
Fast and Furious. Yeah, okay.
I hope they don't do that. Please don't do that, because you're teasing something that will never happen. But
Yeah.
I think T'Challa's dead, and there's gonna be a struggle between the Wakandans, the Jabari tribe, and also the other tribes that we didn't really necessarily explore in Wakanda, and saying who's going to lead Wakanda. And I think that they're not going to immediately let Shuri lead, because she's a kid. And then they had a problem with Shuri being over their technological advances to begin with, the people outside of Wakanda who are in the other tribes. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to probably get someone from the Dora Milaje, and they're going to be the next Black Panther, whether it's a woman or a male.
Okay.
And I also think that with that internal conflict that they got going on, Namor is probably going to flood Wakanda, and now they have to deal with Namor, the basically the Aquaman version of Marvel.
Yeah.
And also deal with the fact of who's going to take on the mantle of being king or queen, and fighting against this thing. There's going to be so many things going on. And also I firmly believe what they do with almost any movie that had a lead that died, Chadwick Boseman is going to be in this movie in the same way Paul Walker was in Fast and Furious 7, in a sense. Like,
man, I love all of this. This is such a great way of dealing with it. It reminds me so much of season 1. What you're pitching to me sounds like season 1 Game of Thrones, which is just such perfect TV, because when John Aaron dies, who's the king of King's Landing, after Robert's Rebellion, when he dies, it creates a power vacuum. So all of the other houses of Westeros are all vying for the seat at the throne, So that would be so cool. And maybe, I don't think Namor wants dominion over the land, so maybe the conflict that's happening in Wakanda somehow spills over into the water, which causes Namor to just be like, nope, we can't have that. Oh man, that's exciting. I love that pitch, man. I hope that is what they do.
Yeah. And like, so just think about it like you have a battle internally with Wakanda of leading their people in their nation, while dealing with the fact that Namor, the underwater king, is about to raid Wakanda. Like,
yes,
in my mind, that's cinematic go. Like you can't. I would love to see a Disney Plus series on that along with the movie. Like, that would be just freaking amazing. But I mean, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about Wakanda Forever, some of these set photos that have dropped online? And also, what do you think about our pitches about what could potentially happen in the next movie? Jump into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. I actually had somebody write me about 3 weeks ago, right around the time I was getting over COVID. And someone said, they literally asked me, am I on Disney's payroll? And let me just say this, because this next topic has to do with Disney and Marvel. I said, if I were being paid, and I actually respond back, said, if I were being paid by Disney and Marvel, my YouTube channel would not be 3,000 subscribers. I just want to throw that out there. It would be 3 million, 3 or 4 million. And if I were being paid by them, and I sure as hell wouldn't be living in Orlando. That's just me. But I am definitely not being paid by them, because this next topic has a lot to do with money. And this next topic comes from a returning guest as well, Miss Iris Peoples. And she writes, hey guys, so Disney is forcing Scarlett Joe into an arbitration, and it looks like they are not backing down from Scarlett Joe's lawsuit. Does this mean that Scarlett Joe and Disney's working relationship is finally at an end? Well, thank you for your question, Iris. I'm gonna be honest with you. The moment she filed this lawsuit, they were done. I'm not talking about Marvel done. Like, we knew that her character was dead. I don't believe, as far as I know, if she hasn't already pre-recorded some things with some other Disney things, I firmly believe after maybe 2022 or 2023, we won't see Scarlett Johansson in any other Disney movie that has anything to do with Marvel or any of their other other divisions at Disney, because Disney, I read it. I read the report on, I think it was either Variety or Deadline. They are not backing down from this lawsuit. They're basically saying that she was paid what she was owed. And they're basically saying also that they could not financially, at least, give her back end points given the circumstances of the pandemic. But my counter to that is that Fast and Furious 9, their theater run is over for most major cities. At least I know that some theaters, like the dollar theaters, still playing their movie. They made over $600 million with no online release. Look at Free Guy, a Disney movie. I still haven't seen Free Guy, by the way. I want to definitely go check that out probably this weekend. But that movie, ironically, is doing well in the theaters, and it's an original IP based off nothing. I read today that in its second weekend, it's doing really well. So this notion that Scarlett Joe and company have to, I guess, settle with the fact that, we're in a pandemic and Disney had no choice but to put it on Disney Plus, that's utter bullshit. That's utter bullshit. And listen, I don't want to attack anybody personally. Like, I don't know Bob Chapek. I've done some reading on Bob Chapek. And I know for a fact that he was terrible at what he was doing in terms of the theme parks and stuff. So I don't know him personally. I've never met him or anything like that. But since he's been in the seat at Disney, I feel like he's been shitting on a lot of people. And I said this not last week, but the week before. I said, I think the last person you would want to piss off at Disney is Kevin Feige. Yeah. Kevin Feige has built up $1 billion franchise. There isn't any other franchise on the planet that comes close to that. The only one, you can't even say the DCEU, because that's a laughable statement to make. The only thing that I can think of that's somewhat close is either Star Wars, or you can make the argument up, except for Fast 9, the Fast and Furious franchise, because I believe Fast 6 up into Fast 8, all of those movies had $1 billion. $1
billion movies, yep.
All of those movies. And then I'm willing to bet Fast 9 would have hit $1 billion if we weren't in a pandemic.
Yep.
But that's not, but keep in mind, that's like 10 movies if you include Hobbs and Shaw. Marvel has 23 movies, and out of those 23 movies, let's say maybe 18 of them have hit $1 billion. That's insane. So yeah, I think Bob Chapek has to hold this L. I think you guys should go into a private room and have a meeting and say, okay, we'll do what Warner Brothers did. We'll pay you an additional $10+ million for what your movie could have made had we not made the decision to put it on Disney Plus. Gal Gadot and Patty Jenkins got their payouts. According to I read a report yesterday, Will Smith and Will Smith and the actors in the King James movie that he's being Serena Williams and Venus Williams' dad in that movie. He got paid an additional money because they knew they're putting his movie on HBO Max. And if anybody who's watched the Will Smith movie, none of his movies go straight to streaming. Not even as something as bad as Hancock. Like it's like that movie had its theatrical run. So if Warner Brothers is willing to do that, I know Disney is willing to do that. So I think that they are very, I won't say Disney as a whole. I think Bob Chapek is very underhanded in doing that. I think that's really fucked up. And like I said, if she didn't have a vagina, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson got his payout.
Yes, he
and
did.
And I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but he was not a part of the MCU. But the fact that it was Dwayne The Rock Johnson who arguably like makes movies better because he's in it, Scarlett Johansson could have got her additional payout. So I've gone a little bit too long on that. But Jeremy, what do you think about Disney forcing this suit into arbitration? And what do you think about, them doing some of this underhanded stuff to actually go to court about something that they were wrong about?
So the way that I interpreted this situation, I feel like the question itself was framed a slightly different than the way that I see it, because arbitration is settle out of court. Arbitration means we're going to get our attorneys into this room and we're going to have a private conversation. That way we don't have to drag it through the media and everybody doesn't have to hear us air out our dirty laundry. It's very much in the interest of Disney to do so. And if I were Scarlett Johansson, I may have taken that meeting. I may have just said, all right, if you guys, want to go have a seat at the table. However, that's not the way that they're going with it. And I respect it, man. I really do. They came and they said, hey, we can settle this out of court. And Scarlett Johansson's guy, I can't remember what the name of her attorney is, but he was basically just like, no, we're not doing that. We're going to take it to court, because court, I think Scarlett Johansson's already won the court of popular opinion.
Oh, of course, yes.
They're not going to be able to drag Scarlett Johansson in the court proceedings, I don't think. You and I have talked about how good of a employee, how good of a soldier Scarlett Johansson was for years. She's been on every one of these press junkets answering the stupidest questions because she was the only female Avenger for the longest time. So like, what is it like to be a woman in the Avengers? How many times should one person have to answer that question? You know what I mean? And then there was the one guy that was like, what kind of underwear do you wear underneath the cat suit? And she's just like, are you kidding me? Like, they get the interesting questions and this is the, what's my diet? You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of crap. So I don't want to say Bob Iger was an angel and Bob Chapek is a demon. That's an oversimplification of this thing. But if anybody had loyalty to Scarlett Johansson, it's certainly not Bob Chapek. He just now came onto the scene a year or two ago,
Exactly, yeah.
In a crazy situation. Obviously, the man's got a lot of things on his plate, and Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow was probably pretty far down compared to, can we open up the parks? Can we, drive people to Disney Plus streaming? There were so many moving parts that I think this kind of just slipped through the cracks, and he was just hoping that it would just be like another casualty of the pandemic. It didn't end up playing out that way. And I think that the court of public opinion, as I mentioned, is on Scarlett Johansson's side. So to drag this to court and to reveal all of those things that you and I have mentioned in the past, that she was so loyal, that she should have got a solo movie years ago, that it wouldn't have had to be in the midst of the pandemic if she would have got her solo film back, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. So I hope she just ends up cleaning them out, but you can't clean them out. They're a bottomless pit of money.
Yeah.
So I hope that she ends up walking away with an extra $50 million, $30 to $50 million. I think she earned it. And did anybody ever really earn $50 million for being in a 90-day movie or whatever? I don't know. I don't know what shit's worth, but if anybody does, she does. So I hope to see this publicly disputed for the next several months and just pulling out all of the stops. And here's an example of Disney being unethical. Here's an example of Disney being unethical. And Disney has done a really good job of covertly selling us nostalgia, magic, love, kindness, like all of these great things that you learn, moral lessons as a child watching Disney movies, watching Pixar movies, watching Marvel movies as a young person. This whole like anybody can be a hero. Like the fiction is all very positive. It teaches us life lessons, right? But the life lesson that I'm trying to impart on people here is that is a separate fantasy world from the real world in which Disney constantly uses their weight and their influence to crush everybody below them on the totem pole. So I want to see Scarlett Johansson just completely win this lawsuit. That would make me a very happy person.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, if you look, like what Jeremy said, I echoed a lot of what he says. If you look at Disney as a whole, they have this perception that dreams come true. You become basically a better person if you do the right thing. But on the other side of that coin, in the real world, things are dealt very differently. And and here's the thing, like I said before, I think Marvel has done a really good job establishing their characters, especially a lot of those characters are unknown. Like, I knew about a lot of these characters before they came on the screen because I read comic books. Not a lot of people read those comic books. And I believe I said this last time we talked about it. I said, think about this. Scarlett Jo has been an Avenger since Iron Man 2. Yeah. Right? She was the first. Captain Marvel got a movie before her. Nobody knew who if you read Captain Marvel, okay, and by the way, and this is not a shot against Captain Marvel or the character, but her comic book run is trash.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She got a movie though. I don't know how that happened. Her comic book movie is not like people do not read Marvel comics because of Captain Marvel. No, that's not a thing. Like, so the fact that she got a movie before Scarlett Jo, I'm like, what the hell? And again, there's nothing against Brie Larson or the people at Marvel who made that decision. I'm just saying that Scarlett Jo should have had her movie long before that. And like, to Jeremy's point, you cannot make Bob Iger and Bob Chapek, like Bob Iger's the saint and Bob Chapek's the demon. We have to obviously understand the fact that Bob Chapek has just gotten there. He's been there for maybe no more than a year or so. So like he has to get his feet wet. However, I did want to ask Jeremy this. Do you think that the direct to streaming is a good model that they should continue doing? I think personally, I don't see the value. And even with HBO Max, I don't even see the value of putting these movies direct to home, only for the fact that it's more convenient for me to watch it at home. But if this model continues, in my opinion, we won't see Avengers 5 or any of these big tentpole movies again because of that model. So do you think this model is a smart model for any of these companies to keep?
I think there was a time for it, and I think that time has passed. When the theaters were closed down, you don't have a lot of choices. The fact that I should have said this a minute ago, Bob Chapek needs to shut up. Like, if he would just shut up for a minute, we could all like forget about the foot and mouth moments that he's had. Because when he said Shang-Chi was an interesting experiment, It's just,
Yes.
it's bad optics. I
Yeah.
don't think he meant what people thought he meant.
Right.
I think he was talking strictly from a financial perspective, because these people, these CEOs, they're robots. He doesn't care about diversity or care about representation. He's saying this is an interesting experiment and how much money I'm about to make. Like
Yeah.
that's the point of it. So if he would just shut up, people would stop looking for the subtext of what he's saying, because
Yeah.
he made a statement about Black Widow. Now he's a sexist. He makes a statement about Shang-Chi. Now he's a racist. Is he really? I don't know, because Bob Chapek really he didn't make the statement about Scarlett Johansson, but he probably signed off on it. But to your initial question, I don't think that this is a good business model at all. Neither myself or you or Caleb or anybody else, Ian, I don't think has done it. Anybody I talk to on a regular basis, we've never rented Premier Access from Disney. And we are marks. We are the people who are supposed to be renting them so that we can talk about them. And I skipped Mulan. I skipped a handful of movies that came out during the pandemic, simply because for me, it's not worth it. I don't have a family of 4 that I'm taking to the movies. I have an AMC A-list pass. So I get to go see 12 movies a month for less than it costs for one of these Premier Access movies. I think it's a terrible idea. And to your point, and I think the most important thing is, if movies aren't able to generate a substantial amount of money at the box office, they're not able to put that same amount of money into movies. So Suicide Squad costing close to $200 million. It was financially devastating, and it did all right. I mean, all things considered, it did all right. But next superhero movie Warner Brothers puts out, they're certainly going to consider that $200 million price tag, when Free Guy cost 120 to make. Looks amazing. I think it is a great looking movie, but I know they built a beach for the Suicide Squad on that lot in Atlanta. So that cost a big chunk of change. Marvel would have just done it on a green screen, or, and that's fine, because it works for them. But yeah, I think that everybody's sitting here now like, can we continue to spend this kind of money on movies that are only going to gross about the same amount,
Yeah, I remember we stated, early on in the pandemic, putting out Tenet in 2020 was kind of a dumb thing for them to do. Like,
yeah.
And I later on finally saw the movie, and it's a good movie, but it's actually one of those movies that I look at for Chris Nolan's catalog. Like, I don't necessarily understand the movie, and I don't understand why this movie had to be over $200 million. I mean, I understand because of the cast and what they were trying to do. I'm willing to bet they spent $100 million on that cast alone. Like, just that cast alone. So, like, in my opinion, like, these movies will start to dwindle, and you'll start to see a lot of Netflix stuff, and that's not necessarily a good thing. So I don't know, I'm hoping that Disney and Scarlett Joe can get this straightened out, and I hope this whole direct to consumer model, if we happen to go back into another shutdown, which could potentially happen, okay, I can see where it's necessary. But if that's not going to be the case, just put it in theaters. Like, I'm going to go see Shang-Chi next weekend. So, I'm going to be socially distanced. I'm going to have my mask and shields and stuff. So I'm going to go see it in the theater. So I hope at some point that we can get to a place where we can get back to normal and going back to see the movies that we love. So what do you guys think about Scarlett Joe and Disney going to arbitration and somewhat working this thing out? And what are you guys thinking about this whole direct to consumer model? Just jump into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. And that will do it for today's episode of Ask Alex. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, where you get all the updates every time I'm releasing a video here on my YouTube channel. Jeremy, where can we find you on YouTube and social media?
Check out Movies Are Terrible on YouTube, and also check out Terrible Attire on Teespring. I've got a couple of new t-shirt designs that I've put out over the last couple of days. Having a lot of fun with that, doing movie quotes and some cool graphics to go along with them. So check that out, and Jeremy B. Terrible on the social media.
Definitely check that out, because I saw his post this morning. I was like, this looks really creative.
Thank you,
like,
man.
It looks really good. I was like, you know what? When I get paid, I might buy a shirt. Definitely
Oh,
buy
that'd
a
be
shirt
awesome.
because it looks cool. It really does look cool. With Teespring, it's weird. I guess their copyright laws are a little bit different, so you can use certain things. I was like, oh, I never
I
thought
don't know,
about
Alex. We're gonna just kind of see how that works out, bro.
it. I mean, we'll see. I mean, that
Yeah.
Godzilla one looks really cool. That's why
Oh, thank you.
I was like, yo, I might get that one. But yeah, definitely check that out. Also check out what Ian's doing on his YouTube channel as well. Definitely go over there and support the controversy. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. And as always, you guys, you have a blessed day.